Welcome back to In Your Neighborhood. I'm your host, Charlotte Brown, and on today's show, we've been talking with Northwest Employment Works. My guests today have been Terry and Darlene. And before the break, we were talking about some of the programs that you offer with youth, but you don't service just youth, you service every age, every population, or?
Everybody. General public, anyone who has a social insurance number can come and see us. I think the youngest that we've actually provided assistance to was 15, and my oldest individual was 73, I believe.
Wow. So, yeah. Awesome. So we were talking about some of the programs. Let's go into maybe some of the other ones. So you have an apprenticeship program. Let's talk about what that's all about.
Yeah, the Ministry of
Colleges and Trade.
Training colleges and universities has an important emphasis on apprenticeship because in the coming years, and we're already seeing it, there's going to be a big gap in trade workers. And so trying to inform youth about the benefits of becoming an apprentice or a tradesperson now so that we can get people interested, getting the training, and so that these employers can fill their needs. So apprenticeship, the services that we offer, we can help an employer if they're looking to hire an apprentice. We can put them on a placement first through our employment service program for the employer to do an assessment, a trial period, kind of see if the individual has the skills and even just the work ethic that they're looking for. And generally at the end of that, we review, and if the employer is interested, we will help them get the individual signed up as an apprentice. And the employer can receive an employer signing bonus of $1,000 at the beginning of taking an apprentice on. 6 months after the apprenticeship started, if the individual is still working and training with that employer, the employer receives an additional $1,000 bonus. In addition to this, if the individual the employer wants to apprentice is short a few credits of their grade 12 in their their diploma, they can sign up for a scholarship signing bonus through this. So the individual would commit to completing the necessary courses within a year. They would get $500 signing bonus at the beginning. And then upon completion of those courses that they require, they would receive an additional $500.
Oh, wow. So what are some of those industries where it's kind of been identified that there might be, a shortage in the future?
There's a whole gamut of them. Millwright, welders, heavy equipment mechanics.
It's really more trade-based than anything because you're going to have an influx of people that are leaving the trades as they retire.
Right, baby boomers.
The baby boomers, yes. And as they leave, then who's going to take their place? And that's one of the challenges for the future.
Yeah, and just passing that knowledge on, right, before people are retired and gone.
And there still remains a stigma about being a tradesperson that really needs to be demystified. Being a tradesperson, you make a good wage. There's a lot of opportunity. And with mines opening and that, there's additional opportunities here in town. So
yeah, absolutely, for sure. And then there's a Canada-Ontario Job Grant. What is that all about?
So the Canada-Ontario Job Grant is a federal program that is in partnership with the provinces. So for the province of Ontario, we offer the Canada-Ontario Job Grant through our Employment Ontario offices. And this is to support employers that are looking to hire new staff and train them, but also to train their existing staff. So, what the program does, it offers up to 2/3 reimbursement, the total cost of training to the employer. So it makes it more affordable. Then employers are more willing, and they're encouraged to do that training more often and readily to support their existing workforce, but also to help with any new hires in areas that they need.
Very good. And then you also have a Second Career program.
Second Career is a program that's available for anyone who's been laid off. Anyone typically who's been laid off after January 1st of 2005, though there is some parameters in place. But if you're eligible and suitable, you can apply for funding up to $10,000 with the ministry, and they can potentially provide you up to 2 years of education. It's all independent in terms of each individual. It depends on their needs and what the program they're going into in terms of the financial support. But it's a really good program that for some people, that makes the difference between them sustain their own family life and sustaining their future. So it's really good.
Yeah, and absolutely for a lot of people it could be devastating that all of a sudden the place where you've worked your entire career has closed, and then you're left in a situation going, I'm not
Yeah.
I can't retire yet. What
Yeah.
can I do? So,
And it was designed for those typically in the forestry and in the transportation industry where they had worked in their field for so long, didn't have grade 12 oftentimes, or didn't have the post-secondary, and now they're finding themselves, and even today, they're finding themselves where they don't have the technology. They don't necessarily, it's not the same as you went to your friend and you said, hey, I'm looking for a job, and then you got the job. You've got a lot of online applications, and it's really challenging. So they're already have something facing their employment search because they don't have this or they don't have that. And that's what we're there to help support them.
absolutely. Let's talk about some of those changes. That if somebody, you know, before you did up your resume, you dropped it off, a lot of things have went to online. So what are some of the things that you teach people or talk to people about in terms of that world of, you know, applying for jobs online?
The first thing that we suggest is that if you're having difficulty finding work, come and see us.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes in my role as a job developer, I have that one-on-one contact with employers. I can oftentimes reach out to that employer. If it's an open competition and you're applying online, you don't get that opportunity to talk to the employer. With myself and the 3 other job developers in our office, we have a huge database of employers that we continually work with. And we kind of bridge that gap, open that door for the individual, refer their resume on that way, and try and encourage the opportunity for interview and to give them kind of that advantage over just applying through the competitive job market. Additionally, there's some employers that you had mentioned before do that digital scanning. So there's certain words, certain things that are expected for the jobs through the province of Ontario. They actually have a specific guideline for resumes and cover letters that they require. And if your resume and cover letter come through not in that format, your resume and cover letter don't get considered.
Wow. So a very important point to know that.
And so if you are somebody who is well equipped and able to articulate yourself and self-market, still knowing that it's going to be, if it's an online application, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be screened by a computer. You need to know that how to market yourself to pass that first stage. And a lot of people don't know that.
Right. Yeah. And how would you, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what you're there for. And then also you have an ODSP program.
Yeah, so we are an ODSP employment supports provider. So individuals that are on ODSP supports for physical or mental health and whatever conditions brought them there, they can seek out, there's a number of ODSP employment support providers in Thunder Bay. They can seek out who they would like to work with, and when we meet with them, we assess their needs, also their level of skill and ability, and also in terms of their accommodations and what they might require. And then we help match them with employers and find suitable placement opportunities, and we can offer a wage incentive and additional supports for the individual, but the ongoing support, mentoring, and counseling for up to 3 years for those individuals.
Awesome. That's great. And so you offer a lot of different workshops and stuff. If people even have a current job, but maybe they're feeling underemployed or they might be looking for something else, can people come in and maybe even get information and guidance as to upgrading their skills or workshops that might be available? Is that an opportunity as well?
Yes.
They can access that information through our resource center.
Oh, great.
So our Community Employment Resource Center at the Confederation College, in addition to our second one opening up in the Wayland Building on Cumberland Street in March.
Right.
You can access those resources. You can come and ask some questions of our resource center staff. If you're underemployed, oftentimes exceptions can be made to work directly one-on-one with a counselor to assess your level of skill, what your actual background is, and to see if we can support in attaining employment in that area.
Awesome. That's great. Well, it's time for another quick break, but we're going to be right back with Terry and Darlene and talk more about Northwest Employment Works.